too much information in the world, much too much, everywhere. It's an assault, it's paralyzing, it's meaningless, it's turned into entertainment, it's taking people away from communicating with each other. It's unhealthy. All right, this doesn't look like much, but when you go to newzoidtimes.com, you'll find a real crazy project where I spent a year figuring out a program that would take news headlines on the internet, collect them all the time, 24 hours a day, chop them up, and reassemble them into false, completely false headlines that look like real headlines. So when you go there, it gives you 20 news headlines that look good, but they're totally false. What's the point? The point is to make fun of the news media. And out of that fun, people get a little detachment from it. They learn that it's maybe, it's not that important or not that serious. It releases them from the addiction to the news, which I think is another illness of industrialized, developed society. The method was very simple. Those are the real headlines, let's say. Danijel Jang speaks, football star arrested for drunk driving. On the simplest level, it breaks at the verb, speaks. It breaks before the verb arrested. And then it switches them. Of course, it has to know to change some verbs because they don't always match the tense. It's much more sophisticated than this. I had to write a dictionary with 16,000 verbs and all the forms, and I hired a programmer, and it was a long process. But anyway, it does some funny things, and people who go to this site can write their own headlines and see it mixed in. So it's a lot of fun, and I think it's serving a social good. Okay. Not everything is just play and following your bliss. Sometimes the bad things are right there in front of you, and you have to do something direct. So here we have a nice assortment of villains of recent history. This guy is President Bashir of the Sudan. Okay, the Sudan. Okay. Another case of mass murder that the world is doing very little about. I said we got to do something about this, raise some money for the organizations, and I took a raw idea. I had a raw idea. The problem was, part of the problem was, it's Africa. Let them kill themselves, who gives a damn? They're savages anyway. Part of the problem was developing the consciousness of the Western countries, the European countries, and America. And I thought the way to do this is make them realize this is very much like something that you do focus on and think was bad, the Holocaust. And the accident of the coincidence that the D and the A of Darfur matched the two most famous concentration camps gave me a clue that we could do an acrostic. And we dug up some other concentration camps, including Ulven, which I didn't even know there was a concentration camp in Norway. Anyway, I did this very crude, Adobe Illustrator thing. And then I needed real graphic design. And where did I go? Upstairs to Mirko. And Mirko turned it into a powerful piece of graphic art which really expresses the thought beautifully. The fence post and the barbed wire, the very direct and clear symbol of what we're dealing with, this recurring problem in humanity, which comes up every generation, again and again. And part of the beauty of Mirko's work is that it looks like a fence when you put the posters next to one another. So that's really a nice accomplishment. That's a photograph of a victim in a camp. I just put it in there to illustrate the fence effect. All right, that was one direct problem. No fancy monkey, sequence of events. Do a poster, raise some money, and help the people. Big problem. Yeah, these are bad guys. I hate to say it. They have such nice costumes. These fellows are the leaders of the religions that are centered in Jerusalem. Islam, Catholicism, Orthodox Christianity, that's Sephardic Judaism, nice gold embroidery, and Ashkenazic Judaism. Why are they together? Does anybody know what made them get together? They never socialize. It's not a cocktail party. They're together because they have heard that the gays want to hold a parade in Jerusalem. And they say, this will desecrate the holy city. That pushed my button. And it pushed Mirko's button too. Unbelievable. These are religious leaders saying that the presence of these human beings expressing their natural affection and unity is an offense against the holy city? Crazy. Totally crazy. Well, we had to do something. So, we bought an image. We bought an image from one of these big image sites, which had already in it a nice rainbow. And Mirko placed some pink triangles, which became a modern symbol of gay unity. Actually, their origin, I think, is in Nazi identification badges. And in any event, we put together this poster showing again the masterful hand of Mirko, and in the sky, Mirko pronounced, "Tolerance is holy." That's what's holy. I better stop at that point, because otherwise I might say some things that will be too strong. And in the United States, there's an issue now of gay marriage, which is a state-by-state issue. It's not a national thing. The law of each state controls. So there's fighting going on now. Should gay people, should two human beings be allowed to have a life partnership? They'll a few hundred years from now, people will laugh at that question and laugh at the societies that thought it was an issue, just the way they laugh at the people who said the earth is flat or the earth is the center of the universe. That's how stupid the prohibition on gay marriage is. Okay, we took the American flag. I did this one with two young designers named Alicia Hallett and Krista Padovano. Male and female, female, male, male and female, male, male, making the lines, substituting hearts for stars, which are normally there for the states, 50 states, and taking language from the famous Pledge of Allegiance that everyone in the United States knows. We pledge allegiance, blah, 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 with liberty and justice for all. That's how it ends. And we made it with marriage and justice for all. So this is a t-shirt. This is being circulated now. Maybe it'll have some influence. Oh, here's a smaller cause, but still interesting. Metropolitan Museum of Art in New York. Fabulous institution.